European Council President Antonio Costa said Serbia is fully committed to its EU accession path, despite the President Alexander Vucic's trip to Moscow last week. Costa met with Vucic in Belgrade and criticized the visit to Russia's Victory Day events, mentioning the need to reaffirm alignment with European foreign and security policy.
A lot of people ask me to don't come, but I decided to come. Because if we have a problem with Serbia, if we have a problem with the President Vucic, the solution is not don't come, is not don't talk with the President Vucic, is to come, to have a talk, yes, to explain the different point of views, and now we can reaffirm, and it's very important to hear from him, publicly reaffirm that he is full committed with the European Union and with the European and with the accession path.
Vucic has been under significant pressure in Serbia following 6 months of student-led anti-corruption protests. He's been criticized for maintaining close relations with Russia and China, while formally saying he wants Serbia to join the EU. Some of the students are in Brussels to voice their concerns to European Parliament lawmakers, as well as the Enlargement Commissioner Marta Kos and Youth Commissioner Glenn Mikalev.
Pričali smo o situaciji koja se dešava u Srbiji zadnjih 6 mjeseci, o tome kako institucije ne rade svoj posao i kako mediji zataškavaju sve, da kažem, trenutnu situaciju. Oni su, da kažem, su podržali nas, uz nas su i to je to. Bilo je tu još nekih spornih tema o kojima smo pričali, ali ne bi duže o tome.
While the president of the European Council, Antonio Costa, is in Belgrade discussing the challenges on Serbia's path to the EU with the Serbia's president, the real challenge for Aleksandar Vučić is here in Brussels. Students who run from Serbia to Brussels to draw attention to issues of corruption and the rule of law are meeting with members of the European Parliament as well as with 2 commissioners. Earlier, Enlargement Commissioner Marta Kos stated that the demands of the Serbian students are essentially the same as what the European Union is asking of Serbia.
The United Nations Aviation Agency has found Russia guilty of downing Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 while it flew over Ukraine in July 2014. The commercial plane was flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. All 298 people on board the flight were killed. A Dutch-led international investigation concluded in 2016 that the aircraft was shot down with a Buk missile system delivered from Russia. The UN's case against Russia was launched by the Netherlands and Australia in 2022, and now they have welcomed the verdict. Moscow has repeatedly denied downing the plane and has offered a variety of other theories of what could have happened. However, an abundance of evidence and numerous international investigations have formed a detailed picture of the events leading up to the plane crash. A Bulgarian man who was found to be the ringleader of a Russian spy circle dubbed the Minions was sentenced to more than 10 years in prison. The 47-year-old Orlen Rusev, who led a group of 5 other Bulgarians that carried out operations on behalf of Russian intelligence, was the first of the 5 to be sentenced.
I acknowledge that you were the first to notify a plea of guilty, and others then followed. That is deserving of further credit. I also appreciate that this was a complex case and that your plea considerably simplified, shortened, and concentrated the trial which followed. The result is a sentence in your case of 10 years and 8 months imprisonment.
The group were based in England and targeted reporters, diplomats, and Ukrainian troops. They also discussed kidnapping or killing Kremlin opponents.
U.S. President Donald Trump landed in Riyadh to kick off his Gulf tour with a delegation that includes Tesla CEO and advisor Elon Musk. Business deals and regional security are at the top of the agenda. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman greeted Trump as he stepped off Air Force One, and the 2 leaders are attending the Saudi-U.S. Investment Forum on Tuesday. Earlier this year, Saudi Arabia pledged a $600 billion investment, which President Trump has said he would like to boost to $1 trillion. He'll join a summit of Gulf leaders in Riyadh before traveling to Doha. The visit to Qatar is the first by a sitting president since 2003, and is a strong demonstration of the bilateral relationship between the two countries. President Trump has hailed Qatar's mediation efforts in Lebanon, Afghanistan, and North Africa as examples of the country's key diplomatic role in regional stability. President Trump's final stop on the tour concludes in Abu Dhabi in the UAE, where he would have hoped to secure major financial deals and regional security agreements with the three strategic allies in the Middle East before returning to Washington. Adil Halim, Euronews, Doha.
The US and China agreed on a temporary tariff suspension on Monday after talks in Geneva aimed at de-escalating the trade dispute between the two countries. Starting Wednesday, 14th of May, US tariffs on China will fall to 30%, while US goods exported to China will be subject to duties of 10% for 90 days. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the two sides seek more balanced trade, while neither wants an embargo or decoupling.
The consensus from both delegations this weekend is neither side wants a decoupling. And what had occurred with these very high tariffs, as Ambassador Greer said, was the equivalent of an embargo, and neither side wants that. We do want trade. We want more balanced trade, and I think that both sides are committed to achieving that. We would like to see China open to more U.S. goods.
Future talks will involve Bessent, Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, and Chinese Vice Premier Fe Lifang. The deal eases tensions following a series of tariff hikes announcements by U.S. President Donald Trump in April. Analysts said the truce was better than what they expected and a significant de-escalation likely to boost trade.
Deal with China.
Previous high tariffs had already begun to impact bilateral trade between the two countries, which last year topped 595 billion euros. While US consumers and factories rely on China, the trade war still prompted an IMF downgrade of Chinese economy last month. While this temporary pause offers relief, underlying US-China economic tensions remain.
Hi, I'm Stefan Grobe. I want to talk to you about Donald Trump's trade war with Europe. Yes, again. You know that the European Union is scrambling to find something, anything, to throw at him in future negotiations. Something that can sway him, that can change his mind, because, as you know, so far he doesn't budge. So here's my idea. Let's give him something that he desperately wants and that Europe could offer him. And that is prison space. Yes, you heard that right. Remember that mega prison in El Salvador where he deported hundreds of undocumented migrants? Now that prison is becoming too small for Trump's vision because he wants to incarcerate US criminals there as well. Really, really bad people, as he told the Salvadorian president. So, domestic criminals in foreign jails? Is that even legally possible? Well, we're looking into that, Trump said. Apparently, that legal research hasn't brought any clear answer yet because Trump was then looking at rebuilding Alcatraz. Remember Alcatraz? Burt Lancaster? Clint Eastwood? Yes, that famous prison island in San Francisco Bay. In other words, he needs more prison space, and here's where the EU comes in. Because if it's island prisons Trump is looking for, Europe has plenty to offer. I know of 3. Let's start with the Chateau d'If off the coast of Marseille. You know, the Count of Monte Cristo and all that? It would need some serious patching up, but it's pretty safe. And Trump would need to deal with his pal Emmanuel Macron and not with Brussels bureaucrats or the obnoxious Germans. Then there is Devil's Island, also French, but off the coast of French Guiana in South America, closer to Trump. Remember, Henri Charrier wrote the best-selling novel Papillon about his successful escape from there. Devil's Island would also need some serious rebuilding, but it's okay. Trump is saving a lot of money right now. And finally, a place called Goli Otok, also a former prison island off the coast of Croatia. It used to be a prison camp under Tito, but today it's in ruins, a little like Alcatraz. Goli Otok means barren island, because it's completely devoid of vegetation. You get the idea. So, If this prisons for tariffs pitch fails, Europe could point Trump to the criminal justice system in the Netherlands, where the prison population shrank drastically over the past 20 years. Why? Largely because of rehabilitation efforts. Some empty prisons have even been repurposed as hotels. And this might appeal to the real estate mogul in Trump. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
I'm Roman and I am 10 years old. I like dance and play accordion. Now I live in Ukraine in my house. My dad goes with me to therapy.
He's showing such a resilience to withstand the circumstances he suffered. The loss of his mother, the heavy injuries, and the circumstances of war. And this shows me the impact, the life-saving impact of Medevac.
Так що саме головне це просто не здаватись. Треба йти далі по своїй лінії і думати про добре.